everyone, this is Take from bigheadtaco.com. Thank you Camera Girl for pressing start on the video camera, aka the Fujifilm X-T2. I am back in Vancouver, and if you're following my channel, you might be wondering about the timeline. I was in Bangkok and Hong Kong, and that trip is done. Many videos to come. But what I thought I would do very quickly is I wanted to do a sort of my overall impressions of using the Fujifilm X-T20 versus shooting with the Fujifilm X-T2 as both stills as well as a vlogging camera, and really let you know what my experiences were, because I did use it. I shot more video than I did stills, so I have quite a bit of experience now shooting with the X-T2, and the what I'm also reviewing is the 10-24. And so let's start this review now. So first things first, let's compare the X-T2 and the X-T20 for travel. In terms of who is it for, if you can afford both, or maybe you can't afford both, is it worth it to upgrade to the X-T2? The reason why I like the X-T20 is because, first of all, the processor and the sensor is exactly the same as the X-T2. So in terms of image quality, other than when you shoot 4K video, which I did not shoot 4K, but there is a difference between the X-T20 and the X-T2 for 4K. That maybe is for another video. This one does landscaping. The X-T2 actually shooting in 6K, and then it's actually down converting to 4K. So 4K on the X-T2 is fantastic. Shooting 1080p, I should have researched this, but I don't think there is any difference, and I couldn't see a visual difference having both up on screen. Like, I couldn't tell when I was switching between the two, which I did. And what I really liked about the X-T20 is the size and weight of it. It is, and using the shotgun microphone from Fujifilm, it uses the X-T20 has the smaller 1/8" jack, where the X-T2 has a larger, this uses the 16" jack, and the which is unusual, right? It's a tiny jack, versus the X-T2, which uses the 1/8" jack, which is what like most smartphones and Walkmans and stuff like that use. So you need an adapter, or you need a shotgun microphone that comes native with this smaller jack, because if not, what happens is this sticks out too far. Like, you have your adapter in, and then you have the standard, so now you're sticking out like 2 inches or 1.5 inches out the side, which is not good. So if you do choose the X-T20, it is nice shooting with the mic ST1 that is made by Fujifilm, and this is a shotgun microphone. And with this setup, it is more discreet than when I use, right now I'm using the Rode Video Micro on top of the X-T2. And that's the big fuzzy windbreaker. I mean, you can put something like this on it, but the windbreaker, the dead cat, works really nice. But this kept me more discreet. I always have a strap, because those that are just vlogging themselves, maybe it's alright, but I'm also, you know, meeting, greeting, shaking hands, going to restaurants, I'm doing things. So it's just great to always have it around your neck and ready to shoot video or be able to take stills right away. So I prefer having a strap on. And so with this setup here, the X-T20, what I like about it is size and weight. In terms of focus, I manually focus this because the AF on the Fujifilm for vlogging is just not good enough at this time. It constantly is focusing on the wrong thing. Even with face detect, it tends to hunt a little bit. And so what I do is I manually focus, and what I do is I use the outer button, the AEL button, which I make into a focus button, put it in manual focus, I put it at the distance that I want, I use center focus, and I press the button to manually focus, right? To allow the camera to autofocus, but I'm triggering it manually here. And then I look at the back, and then if it says the right distance, meaning it says like 1.5 feet or you know 0.3 meters or something like that, then I know, okay, it's at the right distance. If it misfocused, meaning I think it's focused on me and it actually is focusing over my shoulder, it'll read like 5 meters, and you know it's misfocused. So that's what I do. So you set the manual focus to where it should be. And then if I ever do turn the camera around, you can manually focus with this. And when you do that, you just use either the focus peaking, and I use both focus peaking and the scale, and you make sure you have enough depth of field that you can handle the focus shifts very quickly, and you get used to it. I got used to it pretty quickly, right? So then when you go back to yourself again, then you have to manually set visually from where you left it off at wherever it was, 0.3, or if you have either in feet or meters. I have it in feet, so I prefer that. I manually put it to where I think it should be with enough depth of field, f5.6 to f16. Then you're pretty much in focus from within about a foot or so with the right amount of depth of focus. And so that's how I shot with both the X-T2 and the X-T20. Both the X-T2 and the X-T20, you can start and stop video using the shutter button now, which I actually prefer. So I don't have to look for a record button on the back, or on the X Pro 2, you can program that function button there to start and stop. I just like using this to start and then using that to stop. So that is what I liked about the X-T20. Now, let's switch over to the X-T2. I've actually switched the microphones. Now I have the video, the Fujifilm video, the mic ST1 on the X-T2, but I have the adapter, the 1/8 inch to 16th inch adapter, so that I can use it on the X-T2. So you'll even hear an auditory difference between the two, so it's another test. But this is the video micro. Another thing I forgot to mention is both X-T20 and the X-T2 has the microphone connection to the left side. This is the 1/8 inch, so that's another reason why I like the X-T2, is that I can use most standard shotgun microphones that fit on top of a camera. We use the 1/8 inch, but it is on the left side. This is the one thing that really bothers me about the X100, is the X100 microphone input is on the right side. Now yes, people wouldn't use this as a vlogging camera, but even as a video camera, the 23mm focal length, which is kind of, I'm at 18 now, but often I do shoot at 23 as well. 23 is a nice focal length to shoot videos with. This thing, unfortunately, is on the shutter side, so that's why I don't like, this should be on this side. And then if they can, Fujifilm, perhaps put a double card, maybe not a double, because I don't think you can fit a double, but a single on the side. So I digress. Back to the X-T2. Now between the X-T2 and the X-T20, other than that the 1/8 inch jack issue, which I prefer the X-T2, this is heavier. It's about, with the whole setup, it's about 100 and something grams heavier. This lens is heavy, so because of that, you'll notice the lens more, like in terms of this whole kit now, you don't feel the 100 grams as much. One of the things I like of the X-T2 over the X-T20, well, there's many things that I like over it, is that first of all, double card slot on the X-T2. So you can set up the camera so that the video only goes to one of the slots, which I use slot 2, and both of these are the high speed slots. With the X Pro 2, only the first slot is the high speed, the card slot. This thing, both of them are the high speed card slot, and you can have one card dedicated to video. So if you're shooting video and stills like me all day, it separates the two, which is fantastic. For me, doing vlogging and stills, it fills up really quickly. It's nice to have two 64s. I have 128 gigabytes of flash storage inside the X-T2. So that's a big deal for someone who's doing vlogging, and especially if you're shooting 4K, which I wasn't, but if you were, then that's another major advantage of shooting with the X-T2. So other than the weight issue with this, if I had to choose between the X-T2 and the X-T20, changing ISO for me is a big deal. When I shoot video, I don't mind going higher ISOs. As I switch over to stills, it's just quick to have the ISO dial, which the X-T20, you can set it as a custom feature of the 4-way control dial, which I do. I think I have it up, which is, not bad. But if, see no evil, hear no evil. If you don't see it, often it's easy to forget what ISO you're set at. To actually have a visual reminder of what ISO you're at, that is great. And also you do have 3 auto ISO settings in here, and so you can set one specifically for video, set no one specifically for stills, and then you know which that you will switch to. So another reason why I prefer the X-T2 over the X-T20. But other than that, there was no huge difference. I'll put in inserts to show you as I go back and forth that I don't think you'll see a difference between the X-T2 and the X-T20. Hey guys, how's it going? It is Wednesday, April the something, 26th perhaps. I'm in my favorite alley in Toguawan where I am home based, and I am finally using the X-T20 with the 10-24 for vlogging. I didn't use it yesterday because I was moving in and out quickly, out of different places. I was with Florence from Fujifilm Canada, so Florence, is great meeting you. But I went to see Mr. David Chan. I went to go see Meteor Camera. I met up with Tommy from the Cupping Room. All right, guys, I am officially the worst blogger in the universe. I had such a great day out shooting with Victor, and I vlogged none of it. So the day is over, it's dark, we're at the official Annie Barton studio. Victor, you want to call it the Annie Barton studio? Finally, I like to get into the, you know what, I think the audio probably sounds better with this one, so I'm going to stop this and switch it up, and we will finish off by talking about the XF 10-24 lens and how I shot it in both Bangkok and Hong Kong, and then my overall conclusion between the X-T20 and the X-T2. All right, now I have the video micro back, Rode video micro back onto the X-T2. I have the black X-T2 there. I have the graphite silver. I asked Fujifilm Canada, thank you Florence and Helen for letting me take this with me to Hong Kong and Bangkok for a review of this camera. It is definitely a very beautiful camera. Having both, it's just like even with Leica, right? You go with the silver chrome or you go with the black chrome or the black paint. Both look beautiful, and same with the Fujifilm, both looks beautiful. The X Pro 2 graphite is beautiful, but having this, I am loath to ship this back to Fujifilm, but thank you Fuji for letting me test these two cameras. I did want to talk a little bit about this this lens. If I was, so as a video and a stills guy, if I was to bring one Fujifilm lens for the style of photography that I do, and what I needed to do with it, which is vlogging. Vlogging with this lens at about 12mm to 14, so I'll do some inserts of me vlogging with this lens, so maybe I'll insert it now. Keep on doing that. Let's. All right, now you're just photographing the camera. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you enjoying the workshop so far?
It's been great.
So 12 to 14mm is just right, and I was always about this much if I'm just talking to myself, at about f8 during the day, f16 if it was really bright, or f11. And if I was with somebody else, I would just back my arm off like this, but again, just reset the focus distance as I mentioned. I put it in manual focus, right? And then I use the focus button on the back to make sure it's always focusing, and then making sure the focus scale is there so I know that the distance is about right. So I'm looking at this going, okay, I'm about 2 feet away, so know your distances. And so this is about when I'm with 2 people, and sometimes I would still kind of go back and forth like this, but being about this close is nice. Now the 18 to 55 or the 16 to 50 or 55, it's your arm is further out, and I like vlogging closer because as long as your face is in the middle, there's not too much distortion, and you're closer to the microphone. So unless you're using a wireless lav, which is a headache if you are shooting out in the street, because you have this big chunky thing here, you always have a lav on you, and if you're switching between stills and video, it's a headache, right? Because when you vlog, you're kind of vlogging all day, so you want to be ready to shoot at any time. And so this is a great lens for vlogging. As I was shooting street, I thought, you know what, why don't I just shoot street between 10 to 14, right? Just shoot ultra wide street. And I think, like, I would never recommend anyone to shoot ultra wide street because it is difficult, but you guys know I love a challenge. So I challenged myself and I said, you know what, I'm gonna shoot ultra wide street photography. And it took a while to get used to it, but once I got used to it, I got the hang of the perspective and how much you're getting in and how close you needed to be to your subjects, and I enjoyed it. So for a trip like what I did, so vlogging, also I did interviews, and for interviews, if I was doing longer interviews, I did have the 23 f2. I do like the 23 for video work. It's just the right distance again while using a shotgun microphone. It's about the distance I am now to the camera, which is about 4 feet. I might have to go back off a little bit, about 5 or 6 feet, but just enough distance that I can use a shotgun microphone and it can catch my voice and the voice of whoever I'm speaking with. But this is a great lens. having this lens for even for shooting street, right? Because this has, you know, street for Fujifilm using APS-C, 18 millimeter, 23 millimeter. So those are the common street photography focal lengths. So if you are using this for video, you're doing architecture, you're going wider, and then all of a sudden you're like, I want to shoot street. You can back it off to 18. Now you're at about a 28 millimeter equivalent. That's also great for street. So you can shoot street with this like a standard lens, and then when you need to vlog, when you need to do architectural, it's a very flexible lens. So I actually really enjoy this. As well, it is optically image stabilized, although I think Fujifilm can take lessons from Canon and other brands that use both sensor and lens-based stabilization. Even if the sensor-based is electronic stabilization, not sensor shift, when you combine those two, you can get pretty good stabilized video as well as stabilized stills. And so because of that, this was a great overall lens. I do wish that this is WR, and my prediction is that this is probably one of the first lenses that are slated to be backwards, like in terms of Fujifilm going to legacy lenses and adding WR. This lens is a prime target because this is a great landscape architectural lens, and this definitely combined with the X-T2, I think this is a fantastic combo if this lens was WR. I am actually surprised it is not. So overall guys, on a trip to bring one lens, and then this was basically my backup lens, the 23 f2, that's all I needed for travel. And of course I was carrying both of these because this was my main camera and this was my backup. And as a professional, I was in Bangkok to do a paid job, which was to do the Monogram Asia to cover the event. You know, as a professional, you want to make sure you have a backup of everything. So having this lens, the 23 is a backup, having this as my main body and having this as a backup body, I had all this. But for an average person, why would you choose this over this? For me, I would choose the X-T2. For a few of the reasons what I already mentioned. In terms of build quality, this camera definitely does feel better built and, you know, more tank-like. Even the dials and everything feels a little bit higher quality. Locking dials as well. This does not have any of the locking dials here. If you're using the X-T20 for vlogging, it is nice to use the Fujifilm's video, the ST1, the mic, shotgun microphone, because it comes standard with the smaller 16th inch jack. I think it's 16th, I could be wrong, whatever the size is, it's smaller than 8th inch jack, right? And as well, having a dedicated ISO dial. But you know, there's a huge price discrepancy, almost double the difference. And because of that, if you're on a budget, the X-T20 is fantastic. You're gonna get the exact same image quality, you're gonna get almost exact same video quality. Unless you're shooting 4K, then there is a difference, but the video quality on the Fujis are just fantastic. You can see in my videos, it's just really, really good. I love the color science, I love the film profile, so I had a great time. So my conclusion, did using the Fujifilm X-T2 and the X-T20 and the 10-24 work as a vlogging camera? Yes, it worked. Was it easy? No, but did it work? Yes. If you are reasonably good with cameras and you know how to set everything up right, you don't mind setting it to manual focus, which that means you can trust it, right? It just stays at that focus distance. I think this is actually, and you can't see yourself shooting. So that's another minus. One tip I can give, not one tip, one recommendation is Fuji, if you can't design this to fully articulate, which I think they can to have it swing outwards, is to have, when you're video recording, have that light glow like every 5 seconds. It just kind of blinks so you know that the video is still recording. But I got used to it, and because if you're already into the Fujifilm ecosystem and you think, oh well, maybe I need to buy a Canon or Sony or something like that to shoot for vlogs. No, I think as you can probably see in my videos, you can get away with shooting vlogs with this with a little bit of various workarounds. And so that's my review, guys. Just in case, because I'm gonna get lots of questions probably about straps. I tend to get those strap questions. This strap here is by Barton 1972. It's called the Yin Yang. I think might be discontinued, but just email Carmen and Victor and see if they still might be able to source one down out for you. But this is a beautiful leather strap, a braided leather strap, and this was like my number one. It's a little bit long for if you want like the Asian short length. It's more for like cross body, and I use this maybe if I'm wearing a puffy jacket, then it's just about the right length. But this is a fantastic strap. All the straps I have, I use them because I love them. This is by YB Putro, and he is a young fella from Indonesia. So YB Putro, and he sells them I think through Instagram. And this is an semi-adjustable strap. He uses brass rings and brass little rivets. This is also a fantastic, it looks really nice with Leicas because he does a contrasting red stitching with on a nice black leather strap, and that's what I use on this here. And for those who may have noticed when I had the X100F out, this is a Kura. It's a Japanese strap brand. This is a real Japanese silk on here, and if you know the brand Artisan and Artist, this fella used to work there and he started his own company, and this is given to me by Vishal from Camera Film Photo in Hong Kong. I will have an interview with him and a review. I'm going to probably do a strap review soon, right? But this is also really nice, high-end, fine strap, just the right length for me. I can fit crossbody as well as sort of a Asian tourist kind of a height. So great straps. Again, overall, both these cameras on this trip worked fantastic for me. If I had to choose, I would pick the X-T2 for the reasons that I gave, but this is also a very fantastic, the X-T20 is a fantastic camera, and why, of all the reasons I'm giving you why I like the X-T20, that's why I would personally choose the X-T20 over the X100F, but that's for another video. And so thanks guys for watching, and I have lots of videos still coming from Bangkok as well as Hong Kong. Don't forget to like, go samurai on the like, I always get this wrong, I think it's on this side here, right? Go samurai on the like button. It does actually help me guys, but I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, and happy shooting.